As Brazil gained a new leader, it lost a national legend. Football giant Pelé died Thursday at the age of 82 after an over a year-long battle with colon cancer. Brazilians will pay him a final farewell starting this Monday with a 24-hour public wake at the stadium of his longtime team Santos. He'll then be laid to rest on Tuesday in a special vertical cemetery overlooking that same stadium. Lula is expected to attend the events, but no final decision has been announced. Well, between Lula's taking office and the death of Pelé, it's been a hugely significant new year for Brazil. For some insight into this new chapter, today's perspective guest is Marieke Riethof, a senior lecturer in Latin American politics at the University of Liverpool, who joins us by video. Thank you so much for speaking with us. It's great to have you back on the program. Brazil has seen, as I said, two major events in 1 week, Pelé's death and Lula's inauguration. How are these two things shaping the national mood in Brazil?
Lula's inauguration yesterday signals for many Brazilians a new start and a promise of economic and social recovery. And meanwhile, football is, of course, something that unites a lot of Brazilians, and Pelé is considered to be one of the major symbols for Brazil in that sense. So I think that those two events will shape Brazil for the coming year positively for many Brazilians.
Yeah, because the election was so incredibly divisive. We spoke 2 months ago, right after Lula was elected. How would you say the political climate has evolved since then? And could Pelé's death kind of help bring unity that maybe Lula has struggled to bring to the country?
So, since the election, I would say that Brazil is equally polarized today. Although there were big celebrations yesterday, there are many Brazilians who still contest the election results, although there are no grounds for that. So Lula, compared to 20 years ago when he was first inaugurated as president, is facing a much more complicated situation also to form a coalition in Congress and to pass legislative proposals. I think possibly a period of mourning and celebration of Brazilian football could help Lula in this respect, and he's already indicated his respect for Pelé, which of course will go down well with many Brazilians.
And let's talk a little bit more about yesterday's inauguration. What are some of your key takeaways or things that you observed about that ceremony?
The first thing is that Lula, as expected, has announced that he's going to invest heavily in social policies, spending on poverty reduction, education. And he has already passed an increase in the budget for the 2023 to allow that. A second issue is that he has signaled diversity as an important characteristic of his government, and the people who attended the inauguration. I also expect that Lula will move very fast of combating deforestation in the Amazon region, also signaled by the appointment of Marina Silva as environment minister, which is a significant departure from the Bolsonaro era.
And what challenges is Lula going to be facing in achieving his goals, notably when it comes to environmental and also indigenous protection?
Lula has a significant track record in his party as well in government in combating deforestation. And there has been a reverse under Bolsonaro in recent years. However, there's also been conflicts between the Lula governments and indigenous groups in terms of expanding large projects, highways, hydroelectric dams in the Amazon. So I think that will continue to be a tension and an issue under this government. But at the same time, he has signaled that this government has a major commitment to combating climate change.
And what about Jair Bolsonaro? What do you think we can expect from him going forward in the coming years?
Though he tried somewhat late to challenge the election results legally, and that effort hasn't been successful. He continues to rally his supporters, and his supporters clearly have engaged in counter demonstrations. So I would expect him to consider a future political career, perhaps running in future presidential elections. And he will, of course, be able to benefit from the polarization that Brazil has experienced in the last 5-6 years.
And speaking of that polarization, how concerned are you about ongoing political violence and are steps being taken to protect Lula himself and members of his government?
So the shadow of political violence has been hanging over the elections and also the inauguration. So the extreme outcome of polarization could be further political violence, maybe less so when the tensions around the elections are over and the government is starting in power. But it's certainly a concern for the future.
We'll have to see what happens. Marieke Riethof, thank you as always for your insight. That's Marieke Riethof, a senior lecturer in Latin American politics at the University of Liverpool.